Kansas City. You ready? You ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Welcome to the Red Kingdom. Yeah.
Hey there, all these pro baseball fans. In case you forgot, the Kansas City Chiefs are the reigning back-to-back champions of the NFL. And as I am from Kansas City and a huge Chiefs fan, I figured I'd start this episode off with a little bit of classic Red Kingdom by Kansas City great artist Tech 9. But now that that's done, let's go ahead and get into the real opening for your Providence Tonight, episode 7.
Let's roll, baby.
Providence Tonight. I'm your host, Ioe Torrent, and the theme of this season is Crab Fight. Will probably be the theme in next season too, and I'll explain why. Because it is the end of the season, and we're almost at the end of the playoffs. And I didn't do an episode this season, and sorry about that. Just got extremely busy. And but I'll do an episode where this episode we're going to recap what was season 45, look back at the Providence Crabs. Spoiler alert, didn't make the playoffs. And then look ahead in the next season. So stick around as we break down what was Season 45 here in the Pro Baseball Experience. Alright, with that, let's start with how this season ended. Over in the Legends Conference East, the New York Voyagers finished 59-49, winning the division, with the Buffalo Surge just not far behind at 56-52, 3 games back. Crabs, even though had a winning season with a 509 win procedure and 55-53, didn't make the playoffs, and Outer Banks wraps up the division with 48-60 record. On the west side, the Toronto Pathfinders dominate the Legends Conference with a 75-33 record. San Antonio Sloths 65-43, the Boise Raptors 43-65, and the Vancouver Vandals 22-86 in what was a very down year. Over in the Champions Conference in the East, Lunar Base wins the Champions Conference yet again with a record of 72-36, Indianapolis 62-46, Nashville Stars 52-46, and Detroit Demons at 51-57. Over in the West, the Cancun Toros make the playoffs with a record of 71-37, Seattle Sea Serpents 55-53, Death Valley Scorpions 41-67, and the New Orleans Rougarou 37-71. There will be plenty of background noise this episode because I have all these kids here at my house and they're all playing VR. So a little bit of a plug to Gorilla Tag if you'd like to sponsor my next video. Alright, with that, let's take a closer look how the Providence Crabs did in season 45. Well, not great, to be honest. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was okay. 55-53 was our record. We were very middle of the road. A lot of third and fourth place finishes in our batting stats. Third in batting average with 262, which was pretty good. Third in hits with 968. And over in the pitching side, it was pretty rough. Again, a lot of fourth and fifths. Fourth and third run average. Our bullpen ERA was actually second in the Legends Conference with 3.33. Runs allowed 4.75 fourth. I mean, again, just very middle of the road, and we finished middle of the road. So it translates a little bit. Looking over some of the team leaders, the team average leader was Goose with 297. Whiskey Fuse up there again, 294. Benito, 280. Team leaders in home runs. Whiskey Fuse, who is in my class, had 28 home runs on the year. To Benito, 24, and Cool Crab, 22. Team leaders in RBIs, Whiskey Fuse up there, 83 RBI, 75 for Benito, 70 for Goose. Over on the pitching side, the team leader in wins was Ometa with 12 wins on the year. Jay Daly at 9 and Pax Torrent with 8. Team leaders in ERA, Ometa had a great season. Flamethrower Meta, the number 3 starter, with a 3.59 ERA. Pax Torrent 4.43. Flamethrower Meta again wins and strikes with a 171. James Daly 162, and Craftston Potson 137. All right, now let's move over to the rest of the league as we look at the league leaders in stats. So over in the league leader in average, we have a two-way tie at 328. Interesting enough. From Jacef Plasudsky from Toronto, 328. Cole Kim, Buffalo, 328. Also from my class, I believe. Dogwin M. Inem from Lunar Base, 315. And Lalo Salamanca, Nashville, 314. League leader in home runs, we have Allison Chains from Lunar Base, 32 bombs. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt from KQ with 29. Whiskey Fuse from our Providence Crabs, 28. Luigi Lankai from San Antonio with 28. League leader in RBI, we have Rake Slammer from Indianapolis, 106. Dinamite from Toronto at 96. And James Dion from New York Voyagers, 85. Houston Hayes from Seattle, 85. And our Whiskey Fuse from Providence with 83. On the pitching side, the league leader in wins, we had Starscream with 20 from Toronto. Big season from them. Ryan Knock from Cancun, 17. Or Jean Thordston from Toronto, 17. Shakarian De Pollo from Salas, 16. League leader in ERA, Starscream from Toronto, 247 in ERA. Acor Hippocrates from Lunar Base, 286. Shakarian De Pollo from Salas, 291. What are with these names? Over on the strikeout side, we have Mio Hopper, Buffalo. These names get weirder and weirder. Starscream from Toronto, 205. Hippocrates from Lunar Base, 205. Bitty Sheets from OBX, 203. And Stun Gun from Indianapolis with 201. And with that, let's move over to the playoffs as we look at the Legends Conference. The number 1 seed Toronto Pathfinders will take on the 4 seed Buffalo Surge. The New York Voyagers 2 seed will take on the San Antonio Sloths, the 3 seed. And the number 1 seed over in the Champions Conference, Lunar Base will take on the 4 seed Seattle, and the 2 seed Cancun will take on the 3 seed Indianapolis back in the playoffs after a while, I believe. And so 3 of the series games actually go pretty quick, as the New York Voyagers defeat San Antonio in their final game 6-3 as they advance to the conference final. Winning pitcher was Ramiro Rosas, and the MVP of that game was Franklin DeMars, who had a second home run of the series. The Cancun takes the division series against Indianapolis with the winning pitcher Ike Sampson. It was a pretty bad game for this one. It was a 10-1 game for Cancun as they advance to the conference championship. Lunar Base defeats and advances against Seattle 4-2 in the final game. Acor Hippocrates, their stud pitcher, gets the win. They have 2 wins now on the series. Whereas the Toronto and Buffalo go even after a Pathfinders win. They were actually down in the series, and Buffalo brings them. Toronto loses this game, and actually Buffalo comes even with the Pathfinders after the win, 5-2. They will go to a basically winner-take-all matchup, and that matchup will be Toronto with a 4-3 win. Takes the division series in a deciding game with Rohan Therastian to win that game. So, the number 1 seed in the best, presumably the best team in the entire league, goes the distance against the 4 seed, and we are now ready for our conference championships. New York versus Toronto, Cancun versus Lunar Base. In the first matchup, New York takes the victory to go up 1 on Toronto, And I'm wrong. Toronto won 9-4. Read that one completely wrong as Lunar Base takes one from Cancun. And now the leaders of the conferences get 1-0 against their rival. In the second game, Toronto takes it 5-0 with a shutout against New York. They're up now 2-0 in the conference. And Cancun gets one 4-2 as they bring the series even at 1-1. We have in the third game, Toronto against New York. Toronto up 3-0, 6-4 victory as Lunar Base takes the victory against Cancun, and now they go up 2-1. New York finally gets one down 3-0 in the series. They bring it to 3-1 with a 4-2 win as Cancun also comes even with Lunar Base with a 3-2 victory. The New York Voyagers are creeping up 3-2. They win again 4-3. It's a 3-2 series now as Cancun prevails in Game 5 7-6 against Lunar Base. Wow, what a little bit of an upset there. And then the final match, well, not final match, but in a victory for Toronto, they win 2-1 to advance to the World Series. And wouldn't you know it, Cancun defeats Lunar Base 7-2 and will take on the Toronto Pathfinders in the World Series, starting today. And there you have it. Later tonight, we will have our championship match against the Toronto Pathfinders against the Cancun Torres. Congratulations to both of those teams, and thank you, Pro Baseball Experience, for another great season. Season 45 in the books after this we crown our champion. Thank you once again for joining me, your host, Ioe Torrent, to another episode of Providence Tonight. I will hope to be back next season in season 46 as Providence looks to trudge their way to a hopeful playoff appearance and maybe get me one of those rings, as I think my days are numbered here in the Pro Baseball Experience with at least this character, and we will see. But again, congratulations, Toronto. Congratulations, Cancun. May the best team win, and thank you, PBE. We will see you next season. Thank you. Have a good night.